Hello, welcome to the Critical Obsession podcast. My name is Mirella.
And I'm Zoe.
And today we're going to react to the trailer, or rather to the pilot of Happy Ending.
Yeah, I keep trying to want to call it something different. I think all week I've been giving it like multiple different names. I think every time we've spoken about it, I've called it something different.
Happy hour. Happy finish.
I don't know. No, I think there was one like, oh God, I can't even remember what I've said now, but there's been some weird ones. I'm sure if we went back through like my voice message to you, there would be about 20 variations. And I don't know why, because it's like my brain knows it's happy ending, but anyway.
I'm really curious about this one because we're thinking of recording a series of podcasts for books.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been thinking of doing the Foxhole Court, right?
Yeah, so All for the Game series by Nora Sakovic. I think it's how you say their surname.
Yeah. And lately, by all accounts, this doesn't make sense, which is Bex. She told me about a series called The Untamed. Pretty sure the people who are listening to our podcast know about this, but I did not know about it because I don't know.
It's funny. It's funny because like Morella has been living under a rock. That's how she did not know about it.
Yep.
It's funny. I watched it. When did I watch it? A few months after Not Me came out. But it had been on Netflix for ages, and it was actually on my to-watch list. So I knew about it before, but I actually made a deal with one of my friends, one of my K-pop friends, to like she would watch Not Me if I watched The Untamed. I kind of feel like it was a bit out of balance because The Untamed is like 50 episodes to Not Me's 14. So I watched it. So I had actually seen it when Mirella started talking about it to me.
Yeah, and so I'm not that into fantasy series, or I was not. And then I watched Alchemy of Souls, and I'm in love with this series. And then I saw lots of GIFs of The Untamed on Tumblr, and Bex told me about it, and I trust her taste, so I decided to give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not watch it from start to finish, but all the parts that I watched made me cry. So it's like I binged some parts that I wanted to see, and I just kept crying. It was very weird. Like 2 days in a row, I just kept crying nonstop. And then I decided to give the books a try because I like reading the source material. And if I were to decide to choose between visual representation and reading, I'd probably choose reading most of the times. So I read the books. I binged the books. And then
Grandmaster of Demonic Possession.
Yes. And I couldn't stop talking about it. And then I just read all of her books. I read all the books written by Mo Xiandong-Su, which is the author of The Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. And I did not like the other ones as much as I liked The Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation because I'm obsessed with those books. I had them. I'm just in awe of this book series. But I did read the Scum and Villain self-saving system. I did not like it, but I finished it, which is something, because if I don't like something, there's a big possibility that I will drop it at some point. But somehow I finished this one.
Unless we're doing a podcast and I make her finish it.
Yes, unless it's doing it with someone else at the same time and we can discuss it. But if it's just me, then I'll probably drop it at some point. And so I saw someone talk about this after we reacted to Vamp. I saw someone talk about Happy Ending on Tumblr, and maybe I got it wrong, but from my understanding, this is somehow related to the Scum Villain self-saving system. Maybe it was inspired by it. I don't know. But
it's funny, after you mentioned it, I saw something similar And I think it's the scenarios and characters, I think it seems to be loosely based or something, is what I read.
Well, even though the book was not something that I'm like, I would recommend to someone else, I'm very curious to see what they did with this.
Well, it's funny because, as Marilla was saying, we're considering doing a couple of book series, All for the Game being one, and then Grandmaster as well as the other one. I suggested that to her, like, when was that? Friday? Thursday?
Yeah, she suggested it to me the way she suggested vice versa, because I'm just too excited and I cannot stop talking about it. It's just like, okay, let's just do it.
You keep revisiting it, so you're like, I feel like you've got a lot you want to discuss or something. And I haven't read the books yet. I've read a little bit of the first book, but I haven't like seriously sat down and read the books. I did buy the first book though, which is gorgeous. The books are beautiful, and I wanted the other ones, but I've been like trying to restrain myself from like buying stuff. But now, if we do it with the podcast, well, then that's an excuse to purchase them, isn't it? I have to do it for the podcast. I can justify that. It says the girl who bought like 5 books yesterday for like no reason whatsoever, with no justification.
But you have justification for the series. Grandmaster of the Morning, at least for that one.
True. Yeah, true. Although I have read one of the books that I bought yesterday, and I've already started the second book, so I feel like it was worth the money. Yeah, this happy ending trailer was really funny to me about the fact that she's like come to me the other day and was like, "Let's do this because I read this thing." And now I'm really curious. Is when we decided we were going to do some potential obsessions recordings a few weeks ago, I was like, oh, okay, so there's a bunch we could do, and we had already sort of decided we were going to do the trainee, and then I had seen the vamp one, and I was like, oh, we need to watch this because it was really good, and one of the many others that I suggested was this one, because Mum had seen it and she was like, it was weird but good was what she did to me, so I don't know what to make of that really. And then when we were talking about Vamp in the last potential obsessions, I was also thinking about it then too, because we discovered when we were looking into that a little bit that both of the actors, the main actors from that, are also in this. So that intrigued me too. Yeah. But yes, I'm curious to see what it's about. And I don't know anything about, what's the name of the book series that you were talking about?
The Scum Villain Self-Saving System. I want to say self-serving system in place of, instead of self-saving system. Doesn't roll off my tongue easily. It's a struggle.
It's such a tongue twister. That's why I didn't even attempt it. So, I don't know anything about that series except for what Morella told me in bursts and fits of rants as she was reading it. This is the one where you didn't like the characters, right? And then you did, and then you didn't like them again. Is that this one?
Kinda. Although no, this is not the one. This is not the one where I had this experience. It was another one. It was the one where
was it?
Husky something kitten.
Oh, is that the one where he had like a really twisted past or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm getting confused then. Well, then I have no idea what to expect from this because I don't know which one this one was. To preference this, I feel like I should reveal the fact that Morella read like a bunch of these books. Like you read Grandmaster, didn't you? And you were like, yes, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And then you went looking for others and just
I just couldn't stop. I read non-stop for like a month. I cannot stop. And none of the ones that I read after Grandmaster was as good. Just this one surpasses its genre. It's something that I would recommend to anyone.
It's kind of a shame that when they made the show, it was censored. I get the fact that it's still got a lot of the beauty in that of the story. And obviously, if any of you guys have read the book, apparently there are some traumatic, traumatizing, full-on, hardcore sex scenes in it later on. And I'm not suggesting that we needed that in the drama, but it is a shame that we didn't get to see like the intention of their true intention of their relationship.
It has its perks. It's good in its own way, but the censorship, it's just not...
It's a shame. Yeah. I mean, I liked it. I thought it was pretty. And you can definitely tell that there's a romance in The Untamed. Like, they've done a very good job of being very subtle about it, but you have to, like, be completely blind, I think, not to realize that there's something going on. Although I would imagine that probably there are some fantasy people out there who just watched it and not realized that there's a full-on, like, love story happening.
Good friends. Friendship, yay!
How you would miss it, I don't know. There's so many like weird innuendos and like uses of like different symbolism and stuff like that. That's like, you know.
Yeah.
It did help, I guess, when I was watching it with someone who'd already seen it, and who was very familiar with it, and and also very familiar with the cultural context of some things as well. So they were, and the genre, and they were able to like, you know, fill me in on bits that I maybe had missed and stuff like that. But I still think that they did a good job. But I do think it's a shame when, like, you know, stuff like this is not be able to be realized in the intention for what it was created. So that's a shame. But hey, maybe one day. But in the interim, we have the book series, and we potentially have something like this, which I'm curious about. Should we check out this one and see whether or not you can see the characters? See if you can see where the hints were, and I'll just be like, I'll just watch it for the value of it, for the entertainment value, and see what I think.
Yeah, let's do both. Both of us. Let's do both of them. Yeah. Oh, well, at least you can do one thing and I can do both.
Well, the thing is, because this is because I'm not familiar with the story, I won't be able to see it.
Yeah.
You know, you'll be able to see it whether it's there or not, or, you know, whether you notice anything. I have no idea what's going on, so I'm ignorant in that way, but I'll watch it for the face value.
Let's go watch it.
All right, let's do it.
Oh my... I am going to lose my mind. When is this thing coming out? I am obsessed. Like, what the hell? What the hell?
It's so funny, because, like, my first takeaway was, like, there is some really interesting dramas coming out, like whether they're BLs or like, I thought this was meant to be a BL, but I really can't tell. It just looks too dark and twisted to really be able to be clear on that. But like there's like the vamp one, which looks really good, which and then there's that goddess bless me from death or whatever it's called, which looks really fucking good as well.
Yeah. And this is another masterpiece of a trailer, obviously. I want to scream about it.
Well, first off, I watched it the first time around, and I just, like, there were, like, like, literally the only note I wrote was, like, oh, Mike's a cop in this one, because in the... Mike is the actor's name.
Yeah.
Because in the vamp one, he's the vampire and Jeff Satur is the cop. So I was like, oh, role reversal. That was the last thing I wrote. Like, I just sat there the rest of the time watching it being like, what the fuck am I watching? And then I get why my mum was like, it looks good, but it looks really weird. And then I had to watch it again because I was like, I have zero notes. I mean, I knew I had stuff I wanted to talk about, but I was like, I'm going to have to write some stuff down. So I had to watch it on the second time. So the first thing, before we get into anything else, do you see what that rumor or what suggestion that you thought you saw or whatever about the and I don't remember the name of the title.
Self-serving villain, scam villain's self-saving system. Yeah.
Did you see anything that makes sense?
Yes.
Oh, okay, you did.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
and it's stuff that makes me happy. The good parts.
So that's what's factoring into you, getting you excited. Yeah.
Not really, because that in itself is, you know, there are good things. There are reasons why I finished the book.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the trailer had to be good. And the trailer is freaking amazing. I love the noir vibe.
Like the bit at the beginning with the whistle / music, which is so fucking creepy, by the way.
Airy, and it's like dancing shadows, which kind of like reminds you of Singing in the Rain, but the twisted version. And it also reminded me that moment because basically the novel is, from my point of view, it's kind of an exploration of nature versus nurture. Let's say it's one of the themes. And this scene where the way we see him first, the Damon character, is through seeing his shadow on a wall. And it made me think of this theory, the shadow cave theory, you know, the allegory of the cave, were created by Plato, where like people who were like only for their whole lives, they've only seen shadows of the world through shadows in a cave. They never seen anything else. This is kind of a representation of nurture, right? So the experiences shape your identity. Like this is his reality because of the things that he's been going through.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, as I said, the creepiness or the like weird kind of like, as you said, very noir vibe in the beginning, the whistle, the like, just like you just knew it was going to be messed up.
Yeah. Oh, and you know, it's so funny because in the trailer of Vamp, the guy Mike, he's a vampire and then he falls. Like there's a scene of him dressed kind of similar, maybe not really, but like he falls in an alley and then Jeff's character comes up to him and like looks down on him and like says something. And in this one we have like same characters but a reversal, because here he is the detective and the other one is like the mysterious hero / villain character, right? And also the scene where Damon walks out of the shadows. And he looks so creepy, and like he is playing with knives, and he's like this Joker type character who, you know, like that he you know that he descended into madness, and he's trying to prove something to himself and to the others. But the scene is so gorgeous. It's so freaking gorgeous.
Well, it's like, it's really as I said, it's like really interesting because it's like, he, as I said, he comes across in that very first scene as like somewhere in the midline between like a crazy person.
He's like a Joker. I feel like there are a lot of homages in this trailer because he reminded me like strong Joker vibes.
See, he reminded me, like, it's interesting you say Joker because Joker, it fits too, but almost like a clown.
Well,
too.
Joker is a clown, right? Kind of.
Yeah, no, I know that. But do you know what I mean? Like, you went Joker. I didn't even think of Joker. I just went, he reminds me of a clown, and clowns are scary.
Oh, okay.
From my point, I'm not a fan of clowns, but like the makeup and the way he was like kind of, you know, but also a little bit vampiric as well in that scene with the knives.
Otherworldly, let's say. Demonic.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But at the base level of it, he looked nuts as fuck. Like, he just looked so twisted.
Yes.
And it's really interesting too, because the more you saw of it, like it started to paint it. You started to get this picture painted to you once they introduced Barcode's character. You kind kind of like, were like, oh, okay, it's a story that someone is writing, you know, whatever. And so then it's like, is it a parallel universe? Is it like a parallel dimension? Is it a fictional world coming to life? A bit like, there's a Korean drama which I really like called W, Two Worlds Apart, which is like kind of dark, but also like romantic and whatever. And I'm like, this is just dark and twisted. But then we got these scenes where it was almost like, as you said, like otherworldly, like aliens almost, but also potentially, you know, like, is that driven in the fiction lore as well? Or is this, it's interesting because it's almost like he is, from like my perspective of not knowing like the base lore from this book that you're that's potentially being referenced here, but like from like when I was watching it, I was like, I kept going between like, is this a thing where he is being written a certain way by the people narrating the story, or is he the puppet master but like not realizing that he's, you know, twisting his own, you know, destiny or whatever, like distorting his own destiny, or is it just because like it kind of almost looked to me like he would, the people who started to like to took up the story, like let's say took up writing the story, narrating his story or whatever, would descend into madness while doing so, in which case it was like, is that how he started? And that's like why he can't break that cycle, because before they can finish his story and give him a good ending or like redeem him or whatever, like they descend into madness, and it just keeps like this like fucked up cycle like going around and around. Because there's this one scene where he's painting, you know, where it starts out and he looks pretty much almost normal, like just like a normal guy, and he's painting like a vase of flowers, and then you start to see it and it's like a body with like a flower, you know, crown, and the more it focuses on that and the more fucked up that is, the worse he starts to look. Like you see this like descent into madness. And it's like, wow, this is really creepy and like interesting.
The way I read that scene where he's painting and then suddenly there's a corpse is that he, to the core, like this is not something that he wanted to become. When he sees the corpse, he's distressed. He is descending into madness. This is not something that he wanted to become. Something happened to him, and you know he became that.
Yeah, I can't help but think of there's a line from something, whether it's a movie or a show or a book or whatever, that basically is something like it's an evil character or somewhat like ambiguously good/evil character, and they say something like, "I'm not bad. I was just drawn this way," or "I was just written this way." Or something.
That's the female character who is drawn very like sexy and like seductive or something. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, and she wears the red dress.
Like the Rabbit something movie.
Yes. Something Roger Rabbit. He killed Roger Rabbit. Yes, it's her.
Oh, and she's right. Like, I just love my husband and blah blah, but she's drawn in a certain way that
she becomes the villainess.
People are prejudiced.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And it's almost like, and you say like he at the core he doesn't want to be this. My thing is like, is he being written this way? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
well, of course, because he's a character in the story.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, you know, like, because of the way it seems like whoever writes the story descends into madness and dies or whatever. So it's like, is he, you know, like, is he trying to start? Like, is he trying to get or not be this person, but he can't because they just keep descending into darkness and like dragging him down. It's a very interesting concept. I'm very curious to see what is actually going on.
So the main hero, I don't know if it's Fiend, if his name is Fiend, but anyway, the reader. So he's obviously a fan of the story. When the detective is almost killed by Damon,
I believe he's a fan of the detective.
Stops. He's a fan of the story. And the shot stops, and he is like, "What the fuck? I don't like this." He doesn't know the flow of the story or the narrative here, because from his point of view, the detective should have not been outsmarted by this guy. Yeah, because it is not the way he sees the characters and the story, and he also didn't like the way the villain was described in that moment, because he is described like in a romantic way, kind of, which would provoke like sympathy, and this is not something that he wants to think about.
Yeah,
because if this thing exists somewhere, then maybe there's a chance for redemption, or maybe the idea that this is not what he was supposed to become, or that there's more to him, and it's not just a detective. A story, like a straightforward detective catches villain story. There's more to it, but he doesn't. This is not how he sees the story, or at least this is not how he read it up until that point.
It's so funny too, because the scene where like there's no more story because the person has stopped writing it, and also like because, as you said, like it's not going the way he thinks it should, and his friend is just like, "Chill, dude, it's just a story."
Yeah.
Well, and it just made me laugh so much because it made me think of all the times that, like, you know, you've watched something, or I mean, we had a similar reaction with Last Twilight, for example, where you're just like outraged at like the creator in respect to, or like even like think of, I guess you have a major issue with Game of Thrones, and I have one with a couple of different shows as well, where you've invested so much time in it, and then they do this like whole thing where it's like it's so like it either completely, you know, invalidates like all the character development that's happened, you know, over X amount of seasons, or it's just like it makes you wonder like what the fuck have you even been, you know, spending your time on or whatever. And you get really like, you do get like here's like, I have definitely gotten angry to the point where I've just been like, what the fuck? I want all of those, like I want those hours of my life back. Like you owe me.
Yeah. Oh, now that you mentioned Game of Thrones, I want to say that the way this writer who wrote Scum Villains, Self-Saving System and the others, writes characters descending into madness is exquisite. Like the story arcs, the backstories that lead them to becoming something that, you know, the way she writes, it's I don't know, they write this is just so freaking good. The Game of Thrones series writers wish they were just like 10% as good as this writer at writing this thing, because the you know, this last season of Game of Thrones is just it doesn't even deserve being talked about, which is why people mostly forgot about it. But here, like in this story, this thing gets actually explored. How and why and how it can be changed, and if it can be changed, and stuff like this.
Well, it looks interesting too, because it's like whatever it is, if he is a fictional character, if he is from another dimension, if he is like otherworldly, whatever happens, he is getting brought into the world that the reader is a part of, and suddenly he becomes very like almost fixated on him. Because we get that scene at the end where he is burning the manuscript, I guess, maybe trying to put an end to it, put a stop to it or something, only to be stopped by Jeff Satur's character, Damon, I think his name is, isn't it? And so, and just even like the small, I guess, like image that we get of the like dog tags that he's wearing around his neck, which is a very kind of like,
is this a dog tag?
Yeah, that's what they call it, you know, like military tags.
Yeah, I thought military tags, but like dog tags,
they call them dog tags. I don't know why. I don't know why they call that. Okay. Yeah. And so like, but that's such a like a normal, like based in reality kind of thing, like the information that's on there, like his blood, like it's really like, for a second there I was just like, wait. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm very intrigued by it, and as you said, it's interesting to see like how they will delve into, you know, is he good, is he bad, can he become good even if he was bad, you know, like who, like was he in control of his own, like maybe if he's in control of his own destiny, that's where we'll find out what's at the core of him, you know what I mean, like whereas for other people who are in control of his destiny or something, like it's interesting to see how that might pan out.
I'm so giddy. Like there are some shots that I'm obsessed with, like for example when the main hero receives the manuscript, it was shot very interestingly because we see him reflected in a mirror, which usually suggests like a different dimension or a different perspective or like something, you know, like a second identity. And like there's another shot later where he is walking in a, like there's a mirror with different
I love that.
A room with different mirrors, and like there are two identities that he has, and maybe
darker.
Yeah. And then there's a shot from inside the fridge, which is very creative. And then, he receives the manuscript. And we see the scene where the guy, like the detective, is discussing the latest killings. And while he is saying things like, oh, like the victims were treated as pieces of art and blah blah, and we see the painter dancing with daggers, and also this scene where he is distressed and he grabs his head and he drops the brush, and the brush is like dirty with red paint, and then it transforms into a dagger, and it's like with blood, and he picks it up and then he dances around, and like Joker like things, right? On a homage to Joker from my point of view. And also the scene where like he walks up in a cloak, and it's the scene is black and white. And he walks into this arena, which is like in a temple, and he fights with these people but the way he fights, it's like a performer, like he's dancing, like it's, and also
he almost
see,
takes a bow.
Yeah, you see shots of it cuts to him dancing along with the daggers, and it's like he doesn't even realize what he's doing. Like he's painting while he's dancing and like also fighting these people, and it looks kind of like performative, but it reminded me of gladiator fights. And also the fact that it's black and white, and the way it's shot when he drops the clock and he raises his hands. And it reminded me of a scene from Dune. Have you seen Dune?
No, I haven't.
There's this character, Field something, Rotno or something. I don't remember. But it's... he is fighting, and the scene is black and white because I think they're on a planet where the light is only black and white or something. I'm not sure. And it's like a gladiator fight, but in an arena, gladiator arena. But here they were in a temple. But I think it's an homage to that because like I really got flashbacks to that character, the way he raises his arms, the way he fights, the fact that it's black and white, the way it's so performative. And that character is really fucked up, and I think he's kind of psycho. But
there's a character
for him, I think he's like that because of nature and not nurture.
Yeah. Well, there's some scene that I've got in the back of my mind that was in the back of my mind while I was watching that, and I cannot picture what it's from. Like, it's funny because you keep talking about Joker and stuff, but not the Joker of new, but like the old school, like 90s Joker maybe. I don't know. There's a scene from something I've seen where there's like either a battle going on or like explosions or something, and the person who is the villain of the story is basically like walking through like a landscape, either of like a building or like, I'm not really sure, and he's like, it's like he's the orchestrator, like he's like what do you call that, the maestro of the orchestra, where he's like, he's doing the things with these hands, like, you know, like when they're standing at the front of the symphony or whatever.
I know the name of this thing in my language, but not in English.
Conductor. It's like he's conducting a performance, you know, and he's walking along and he's doing the thing with his hands, you know, like a conductor. And every time and you can hear this like, there's like a big score happening, like a music score happening, and like every time there's like a big moment in the score, you know, there's like an explosion or whatever, and he's just like smiling and like walking along. It's on the tip of my like brain. It's going to bug the crap out of me. There might just end up a random post on like our Twitter and Tumblr account where I just like blurt out like what it was. And you'll only know what it means if you listen to this podcast. Otherwise you'll be like, what is she talking about? But yeah, so, and the thing that I loved as well, like I loved the scene that you were talking about, the black and white scene, but I loved it because of the way it was, like, besides all the things that you've also said, but also the fact that, as you said, it was sort of interspersed with this, like, really, even though it was dark, but still really vibrant colors and stuff, like the yellows and the reds from the painting and all that. And then you have this, like, really, and also really dark as well, like when the detective is talking to the other detective, and they're in like, obviously they're in the police station or something, and it's very dark and very, as you said, very old school detective noir kind of like film type style.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Also
they'd both been wearing
horror noir.
Yeah, if they'd both been wearing like trench coats and like fedoras or something, like it would have just made it just that little bit more, But that was such a like almost overexposed with the white in the black and the white. Like it was very interesting contrast in the shot of that too. And It's interesting because when you're watching, like before any of that happens and you're just watching like the stuff with Mike and Jeff Tatar and Barcode and that, and like, cause like Barcode's bits are meant to be in the reader, he's meant to be like based in the realities, like that's what you can make the assumption on. And then you have the stuff with the detective and with Jeff Tatar's character Damon, where it's like this is like the fictional side, but then also it's like it kind of looks like it's bleeding in and stuff. And then so you think you've got a handle kind of on like what's going on, and then they throw this other thing at you, like this shot of him, and it's almost like it almost kind of lends itself to being in the past as well, because like the daggers he fights with are more kind of crude, like in the shot where he's fighting the robed, like other robed people and stuff, versus like when he is with the detective and he's got more kind of like forged weapons, more sophisticatedly forged weapons, let's say. And it's like a bit, and then you've got the woman who's like obviously from the same place, and it's just like all of a sudden you're just like, okay, so what is the which is the reality, which is the fiction, which is the whatever, like is he coming from that place into this place, like is the color that he's painting with like a part of like, I don't know, something he's trying to create to get out of the the monochrome of things. Like it's just, there's so many levels to it. I don't even know where to start.
I'm so curious to see how much they changed, because they obviously changed a lot. Oh, another shot that I absolutely loved was when they were like in the cupboard or something and everything was yellow because of the sun, maybe it's sunset or something, and you can only see the outlines of the main heroes, I guess Finn, and played by Barcode, I suppose, and or maybe not, maybe Finn is a detective. I'm a bit confused. And the other one, which is Damon.
I know, that's why I'm calling them by their real names, because I'm like
and
not familiar enough with the character names.
And the character of Barcode reaches out to the outline of the Jess character, and it looks gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. It's like, it made me think of like maybe this is something that he imagines, maybe this is something he's trying to do. It's very symbolic and also beautiful.
Yeah, it's almost like he sees a vulnerability in him or something, so he reaches out. That's how I sort of interpreted it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting too that, like you see, and other people have seen this connection to this particular book series and what he's creating here, because he apparently is a big fan of the Untamed and of a lot of like that sort of genre and that. So it's very interesting. So yeah, I'm curious to see.
Yeah. Oh, and there's another scene. I don't really know what's going on there. Even with the novel, I read the novel. This obviously they made a lot of changes. But even the novel, I don't remember that much because I kept reading, and everything mixed up in my head. And maybe some of the things that we saw in this trailer are a reference to something that happened in the novel, but I don't I don't know. I did not notice, or I do not remember what happened in the books. But like the scene from the end was very interesting. There was this woman who, I think she was the one who was talking about the endings, or the way the trailer is shot made me feel like she was the one discussing graceful endings. And so she's looking like at this big hole in the sky, like she's in this underworld or a different dimension, and corpses,
they look like bodies.
People keep falling down. Yeah, and then the shot just turns upside down, and we see Damon fighting people, and it kind of feels like he's the one who kills all those people who fall into the hole. Like he's the reason why that is happening.
Yeah,
because
like he's dead.
Yeah. It's just so
I saw that and I was just like, wow, that's a fucked up scene. With all the
so
people falling in.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
Like, what is going on in entire dramas at the moment? Like, I will cry if these don't get made. Like, I'm so wary now because I feel like every time I get super excited about something, it doesn't happen.
I don't know. This one has like very famous actors, and I feel like at least this one and the one with Goddess Bless Me From Death is going to be made.
I think so too. I mean, they've made, but you know, like I feel like it too. But I'm just like, when?
And we are going to watch and talk about this one because there's no way we are not.
And I feel like this also, like I kind of feel like the other thing that needs to happen is they need to not all be released at the same time. Please do not release them all at the same time.
We're going to do it somehow. I don't know how. We're not going to sleep. We're going to drop our jobs or something. Like, we're going to beg for money on the internet, but we're doing this.
Yeah. Oh, look, I would be interested in doing this. I also really want to do Goddess too, because I think that looks really, really interesting as well. So it would be great just for our mental health and sanity for them not to air at the same time.
But oh my god, the cinematography in this. Like, I'm pretty sure there are so many things that I did not have time to notice. We watched the trailer 2 times in a row before starting to talk about it, and I feel like there's so much more that I can notice and see and talk about it.
Look, there was so much like going on. That I feel like, and they did such a good job of making it super fucking weird, super confusing if you don't have the backstory connection that you have, for example, and like just really bizarre and twisted and odd.
But you got to the thing that it's a story, right? I feel like the additional things that I know might not even apply here because they change things. So
no, but I just mean like they did such a good job of like, because it is literally like this weird fucked up
trailer. It's a good trailer.
Really have no idea what the fuck's going on.
It intrigues you. It presents a beautiful picture.
Weird, and it's going a certain direction. They threw like black and white aliens on you.
Yeah, but it's like it makes you want to watch it
from the sky. Yeah,
but at the same time, it does not spoil the story. It does not spoil anything.
No, because you have no idea what's going on. But in it, because we've talked about this a bunch in other trailers and stuff, other pilots as well, where we've just been like, we have no idea what's going on. But that's more to do with the fact that there's like a cultural reference we're missing, or like we feel like we're meant to have read a book or something that everyone else knows the backstory of or whatever. And, you know, like they just haven't explained it well in the trailer, or they haven't, you know, done something. This is different. This is just like, you don't know what's going on because you're not meant to know what's going on. Like, you know, like that's the beauty of it. As you said, it intrigues you and makes you want to know, like, what the fuck is this what did I just watch? But in the best possible way.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. I'm so happy. I don't even know why.
It's funny because I watched it and then I watched it again, and then there was like a, I don't know, 40-second like teaser clip or something, which must have got released, I reckon, around the same time. I suggest you go and watch that if you haven't gone and watched. Sorry, if you didn't watch that, I suggest you go and watch that, Morella, because it's like, it was very interesting. I thought it was very interesting considering how short it is and like the way it was shot. I think I actually want you to go and watch it and then come back and talk to me. But but yeah, and I watched that, and then of course it started rolling into some other trailer which I watched with Amarillo, and now she's mad at me because I'm like, oh, I think I found another one we can do. Because it also has a weird vibe to it. Like, what is it with this?
Yeah, because I was like, are you finished? Are you done yet? Are you done yet? Can we record? I was like, oh, I'm watching another trailer.
It just kind of happened to me. I don't know. I had no control over it. Someone else is writing my story. That's the excuse I'm going for anyway. But yeah, no, just seems to be a lot of interesting stuff coming out in the, foreseeable future, which is like good. I'm excited about what's to come. And if you couldn't tell earlier, we're also excited about doing our books as well.
Yeah. And also I feel like the thing that I did not like, or let's say so, that I did not like about the book, I think is going to be here as well, but I don't care. I don't mind it.
We're gonna have to have a conversation off podcast, because I need to know what you're talking about. I'm like, tell me. Yeah. In my defense, you talked to me about a lot of books that you were reading in a very short amount of time, and I was starting to get confused about which book you were talking about.
I am confused. I don't remember anything.
Like, I remember the stuff from when you were talking about Grandmaster, because that was very clear to me.
But I always come back to that. I read another book and I'm like, oh yeah, but I still remember Grandmaster. And then I read another book and Grandmaster. And then I read another book and it's like even an interesting moment, but I stop to go and just read some things from Grandmaster. So I got to
it's like, wait, this reminded me of something. I need to go back and watch it again. Yeah.
Read it again.
Oh yeah, sorry. What did I say? Watch it. Yeah. Well, it's like when I'm like, oh, I have to film the podcast. Record. That would be record, Zoe. Yeah. English is not my first language. Which I wish was my excuse. It is, unfortunately, my first language, and also something I majored in at university. No one come at me.
It's but anyway, with the novels, when you read too much, everything gets mixed up and you don't remember anything. So you just know too much.
If you get into like a spiral of it. Well, as someone who read a whole book today and is now about a third of the way into the second one, these books will start blending together. I feel like if I continue to read them the way that I'm reading them, it'll just be one big story. But that's like, I'm okay with that. I don't think I'm ever going to need to talk about them, so it's okay.
We'll have to talk about them to me.
Yeah, oh yeah, well, you'll get it, but you'll get it like as it happens. But I wish we knew when some of this stuff was coming out. Like, it's like, coming soon. What does that even mean?
Well,
it's so torturous.
My drama list says airs in 2025.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why are they torturing us now by showing it to us now? So mean. There's such big teasers. Although, I mean, look, how fast did it get to be like June? How quickly did the last 6 months go? It's insane. Guys, do you know we've been doing this podcast since September of last year? It's wow. It'll be a year before we know it. I can't believe that.
Posting every week.
Oh, yeah. We're insane.
2 episodes most of the time.
Oh God, yeah. I feel like we were really insane when we were posting 2 episodes a week.
We were just so excited, enthusiastic and energetic when Dangerous Romance came out. We just had so much to say.
We had so much to say. Yeah. I got all nostalgic for Dangerous Romance the other day and I was like, well, I should watch it. There was some great imagery in that as well. I'm still in love with the scenes where the bullying is happening in that back room, and there's like the build up of the boxes, like the castle and the ruins. I loved. There was some really good imagery in that show.
There was.
That unfortunately, I'm sure a lot of people missed.
It's our baby, but I'm sure people will go back to it.
Yeah, I hope so. As I said, I felt the urge to watch it the other day, but we've just got a lot going on at the moment, so I'll have to save it for another time. But it's there, so that's good. I can go back to it whenever. I did also buy it on DVD, so like, if something horrible happens to YouTube, I can still watch it.
All right then. So I guess this is it.
It is, yeah. Otherwise, we're just going to keep talking and rambling about other stuff forever.
So thank you for hanging out with us. Talk to us about this trailer. What are you thinking? Have you read the book? Did you get any references? Were there references that we did not notice? I'm pretty sure there were. Surely.
Did we want Morella to say the name of the book again?
Please no. And share our podcast with people who you think might be interested. And goodbye for now.
Bye.